What's up, everybody? My name is Tommy Griffith. I'm one of the co-founders of ClickMinded. Today, we're going to be talking about how to create high-converting sales copy. This is exactly how I do direct response copywriting in 5 minutes or less. Copywriting is the backbone of what we do at ClickMinded. It's one of our most important digital marketing tactics. It's something that I personally love. I'm kind of a copywriting nerd, and so I'm really excited about this one today. So if you run a digital marketing agency or consultancy, I don't need to tell you how difficult it can be to manage copywriting at scale. If you have lots of clients, understanding everything that they need from a copywriting perspective can be difficult. Every single client has multiple products, they have multiple customer avatars, and sometimes they modify their brand voice on a case-by-case basis. When you scale that out across multiple clients, this can become a nightmare to manage. So I want to go over all the ways that we think about copywriting and the things that you can do to help manage it all. Now, before we dig into that, I want to talk about some of the nerdy history of copywriting. And if you're into the copywriting world at all, or the direct response copywriting world at all, you may have heard about this story. The Wall Street Journal Two Young Men letter. So the Wall Street Journal Two Young Men letter was a copywriting experiment done by the Wall Street Journal in 1975. It was a direct mail campaign, and it was just a simple 2-page letter trying to get people to sign up for the Wall Street Journal. It is considered arguably one of the most successful pieces of direct response copywriting ever created. And this is what it looks like, 1975. And so just some highlights from this unbelievable piece of copy. It ran for about 28 years with very minimal changes. It has generated an estimated $1 to $2 billion in subscription revenue over that time. It contains a very simple storytelling structure. It has relatable characters, a clear promise linked directly to the product, strong offer and call to action, and then proof through longevity. The fact that it has been running for 28 years shows that it is very consistent. Writing high converting sales copy is arguably some of the highest ROI activities you can do inside your marketing. And now you can do it with AI. So today we're going to be going over how to generate high converting direct response copywriting using artificial intelligence. And just very quickly, we're not going to go through the whole letter, but just so you get a taste of it and sort of what the vibe is, we're going to go through a little bit of it. The Wall Street Journal's Two Young Men letter. Dear reader, on a beautiful late spring afternoon 25 years ago, 2 young men graduated from the same college. They were very much alike, these 2 young men. Both had been better than average students. Both were personable, and both, as young college graduates are, were filled with ambitious dreams for the future. Recently, these men returned to their college for their 25th reunion. They were still very much alike. Both were happily married, both had 3 children, and both, it turned out, had gone to work for the same Midwestern manufacturing company after graduation, and were still there. But there was a difference. One of the men was manager of a small department of the company. The other was its president. What made the difference? A publication like any other, knowledge is power, a $28 subscription, an investment in success. P.S. It's important to note that the journal's subscription price may be tax deductible. So that's just a little flavor of this absolutely incredible piece of direct response copywriting. Started in 1975, ran for 28 years, and generated $1 to $2 billion in revenue. This is the staple of the copywriting world. Now, this does not mean, okay, go in, take this, copy this to your clipboard, and command, find, replace your product. But it does give you a hint at what type of copywriting does work. And fortunately for you, we can now do a lot of this with artificial intelligence, and specifically with the ClickMinded sales page generator. So I want to dive into that now. So before we dig into the sales copy generator tool and how it works, I want to go over our demo client. We have our demo website we use for tutorials like this. It's called retroaddicts.com. So imagine that I am a digital marketing agency or consultancy, and a new client has just come on board with us. They are retroaddicts.com. They sell vintage video games. So vintage Nintendo and Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis, Sony PlayStation and N64, and they target nostalgic game players and eBay resellers and things like that. They've come to us and they say, hey, we want a full digital marketing campaign, and we are now working on their sales copy. So we'll be using Retro Addicts as our demo client for today. Okay, so now I'm gonna use the ClickMinded sales copy generator to get this going. So I'm in the ClickMinded members area now on the back end, and on the left-hand side, I've clicked Create, and I've gone in and selected the sales page copy generator tool, and that's what it looks like here. So there's two options for me to get started. I can use either quick mode or manual mode. Quick mode just simply asks for a URL, so I could input the client's URL. That'll go to the website, scrape a bunch of the information, and populate a bunch of the fields that are coming up under manual mode. I could also input things manually via manual mode. I'm just gonna show you these fields here. We're gonna use quick mode for this demonstration, but I just wanna show you what manual mode looks like. I can set the language, I can set the name of the product or the service category, the type of business that it is, more information about the product, describing the product, key features, the pricing model, audience information. I can set up to 3 different customer avatars, which will modify the sales copy based on that. Social proof, so any customer quotes or testimonials that you have can go in here. The sales page copy style, we can either do long form or short form. The brand voice, so this one's optional, but anything that's unique to your brand, the unique writing style, tone, personality, preferred vocabulary, and any formatting habits. If you leave this blank, then we'll do it on our own for you. So you can, this is optional. And then we'll just click generate sales copy. But like I said, I'm gonna go back just to show you how simple it can be and how far along we can get with just one URL. So I'm gonna type in the client's URL now, retroaddicts.com, and I'm gonna click analyze website. Okay, so that only took a couple of seconds, and now all of those fields are populated. The language is English, the brand name is Retro Addicts, the type of business is e-commerce business. I'm gonna modify this a little bit, and I'm gonna call it a vintage video game e-commerce business. And hit next step, describe your product, authentic retro Nintendo consoles and games, specializing in sourcing quality retro consoles. I'm gonna add, let's see, we have Nintendo. I'm gonna add Super Nintendo and Sega and Sony and Nintendo 64. Just add a couple of those there. The key features, quality sourcing, wide inventory, restoration and repairs, pricing model. I'm gonna say normally $50 or less per game, something like that. We'll hit next step for audience. The first customer avatar determined was 90s kids who are looking to relive their childhood through vintage consoles and games. That's pretty good. It's a pretty good guess for the first customer avatar. I'm gonna add a second one called eBay resellers, and maybe a third one like antique collectors and vintage enthusiasts. We'll hit social proof on the next one. So if you have any testimonials or social proof, you can add those here. I'm gonna say, this site is amazing. Thank you for the N64 from Johnny Appleseed. Just a fake quote there. Long form or short form, we're gonna default to long form for now, just to check it out. Brand voice, let's say this is going to be friendly, optimistic, optimistic, excitable, and excitable. Enthusiastic, nostalgic, nerds who love the 90s, something like that. And then we're just gonna click generate sales copy. That's gonna take a couple of minutes. It says, great, we're generating your sales page now. In a few minutes, we'll send you an email with a link to your sales page. And now we wait. And there we go. So that only took a couple of minutes, and the ClickMinded sales copy generator has created our sales page copy. So before we dig into this, I just want to go over some of the things going on in the top here. First, the first button up top, edit business info. If I click this, I can go in and edit any of the information I gave back to the tool. So if there's anything that I missed or I want to change, or maybe something changes in the future, you can always go back and modify the inputs, and we'll regenerate the copy for you. There's also the customize copy button. So I could go here, and if there's anything that maybe you like the overall vibe of the copy, but you want to add something, you can go in and tell us that. So I want you to focus more on the first feature, or I want you to focus more on the price, or whatever it is. You can let us know. Customize your sales page copy there by clicking the button, and we'll regenerate as well. You can copy the link to the clipboard so you can share it with others. And we also have rich text, HTML, or markdown versions that you can all copy to your clipboard. So the copy is listed here, and what we do is we organize it in little buckets. We start off with the big problem, then we talk about the vision of success, then we talk about the contrarian angle and the aha discovery moment, then we introduce the product or the service, then we have social proof, right? Any testimonials that you might have, any of the features there, and again, this is the long form version of the sales page copy generator, and then the conclusion for you listed there. We also have your target persona. So we took all the information from the data you gave us and we generated personas for you. So the first one was Nostalgic Nick, a 35-year-old who struggles to find quality working retro consoles, all of his goals and objections and answers to those objections. We have Reseller Ryan, his goals and true goals and purchasing objections. And those two are our customer avatars that are generating this copy. Now we can take a look at some of it here. Why is it so hard to find the games that made your childhood awesome? Picture this, you finally carve out an hour to hunt down that classic SNES game you used to love. So I can come down here, imagine firing up your console and hearing that familiar startup chime again. Everyone looks for cheap retro gear, but that's the problem. Meet retro addicts, where every console works like it's 1991. Social proof with the quote, features, and then the conclusion, your childhood is one power button away. So as you can see here with the click-minded sales page copy generator, you can create some pretty incredible copy in just a couple of minutes with just a few data points from the business. Now, I do want to point out here, we are so proud of this product. We think it is an absolutely incredible way to generate sales page copy, but we do not recommend using this without a human in the loop. We still think you should have a human there to review, to edit, to finalize things, to make some tweaks. We're very confident that this tool will get you 90 to 95% of the way there. But then someone should be doing the final approval, making the final modifications, and doing a full human sign-off on everything before you hit publish. Okay, so now I'm gonna take this sales copy and throw it into my content management system. So I'm just gonna copy this as rich text, copy that to my clipboard. And I'm gonna jump over to WordPress, which Retro Addicts is built on. All I have to do is paste it in, and there it is. My copy is here and ready to go. And I've hit publish, and there we go. Why is it so hard to find the games that made your childhood awesome? So obviously I would modify this a bit, I would tweak it. We want to have a human in the loop, but I have copied that to my clipboard and published it on retroaddicts.com. So one other thing you should consider once your sales copy is done is running an experiment. And you can do that with one of our many SOPs on how to run A/B tests on your website. This is just one of the hundreds of SOPs we have in the Click-Minded members area. This is SOP number 60, how to structure, run, and analyze an A/B test on your website. And it just goes through the steps here, the goal, the ideal outcome, why it's important, where it's done, when it's done, and who does this. You can export these as PDFs, Google Docs, or .docx files. And we have integrations with major project management systems like Asana, Notion, ClickUp, Monday, and Trello. And for this one here, it lists all the resources you need, any prerequisites. This one we go through VWO as the preferred A/B testing tool of choice. It's free and recommended. And we have specific SOPs when they're needed. They're linked to within the SOP. So if you ever need additional resources in the SOP, we always link to it. All of our SOPs are easy to follow. You can check them off as you go along, and your progress meter will move down as you follow the instructions. And this is a great way to either test new copy in contrast to copy you already have on the site, or use the sales copy generator to create two versions and test both of those. So this is a great way to use the sales copy generator and some of the A/B testing SOPs that we have to make sure that the outcome is actually improving your conversion rate. And that's it. So that's how I like to write high converting sales page copy the exact way that I do direct response copywriting in 5 minutes or less. Now I have a challenge for you. If you have a copywriting project that you've been thinking about finishing, or maybe you just recently wrote some copy that wasn't that good, use this tool and try it out. You can use it on your own business as a test, or maybe you have a client or a prospective client that could really use some improved copy. Give it a shot. Use the quick mode tool, build out the customer avatars, and generate some copy for that person. Also, if you're running a digital marketing agency or a consultancy and you're not offering a copywriting service, this would be a fantastic time to start. All the links are down below to get started right now for free. Thanks a lot.